Hello everyone, and thank you again for joining me on another novel escape. My name is Trevon Grant, and this is going to be a book review on Leviathan Wakes by James S.A. Corey. Now, this book was written by James S.A. Corey, who just happens to be the an assistant writer, I think, of George R.R. Martin. Now, if that is not a good incentive to read this book, then maybe this review will. Now, Leviathan Wakes is a sci-fi, and where humanity has been colonizing different areas of the solar system, areas like Mars, the Moon, the asteroid belt, some of Saturn's moons, and they have plans of going beyond even that. Now, because places on the asteroid belt or just living on the asteroid belt doesn't have all the resources in order to support human life, our main character, James Holden, is an ice hauler who gets ice from the rings of Saturn and ships it all the way back to the asteroid belt. I think he's an XO captain. He's an XO on the ship. So on one of their trips back, they come across an SOS signal, and as one of the written laws or unwritten laws, I'm not sure if it's a written law. But anyways, one of the laws is that if you come across an SOS signal and you are close by, you have to go and investigate. So then they go ahead and investigate it, and that pulls them into a conflict where James Holden's ship is blown apart while they are on another ship trying to check out this SOS signal. This sort of draws James into this conflict, into this problem, and the story progresses from there. I don't want to get into too much of it because I don't want to spoil it for you, but that's where the story sort of begins. Now, our other main character is Detective Miller, who is looking for a girl, right? And one of his jobs is to actually get this girl, kidnap her. I know he's a detective, and yet his job is to kidnap, but he's to kidnap her and bring her back to her parents because she has run away. And even though she's an adult, I guess she's run away. Anyways, but yeah, that's the way that looks, right? It turns out that this girl is somehow linked to James Holden's ship being blown up, or somehow linked to James Holden's ship being blown up, and this is how these two characters somehow come together. James Holden as a character is described in the story as being completely righteous, right? Everybody sees him as this righteous character, the one who's always trying to do things the right way. But it's, the way the story is written, it's right according to his eyes, and when he believes in something, he goes and fights for it, which is definitely admirable. But sometimes the way in which he fights for things and the way in which he does it is naive, and actually his naivety is what actually starts a war between Earth and Mars. So our second character, Miller, on the other hand, doesn't mind walking a fine line, if you know what I mean. But yeah, he'll throw you out into outer space if you mess with this guy. So then when the two of these characters meet, the righteous one and the not so righteous one, they don't exactly kick it off as best friends, even though they are the two main characters of our story. What are some of the cons of the story? I don't even know. I don't remember reading the story and actually coming across any major cons or things that I didn't like. Because actually, I got the book right here. I actually read this thing, took it to work, and I read it on my free time. And so it took me a few weeks to tell the truth. It's about 550 pages, so it's not terrible. So yeah, it took me, I didn't find any major cons. One of the things though I did find that I didn't quite like was towards the end of the story, when the villain was finally revealed, and by the time you get a full grasp of who the villain is, the story ends. And I'm like, no. It's like, I want more. And so now this is only the first book. I think it's a 7-book series. So this is only the first book in this long series. And so it's not such a big deal, this con. because I know that, well, I don't know, but most likely that this villain will be revealed in further books, and so on and so on. All right, so what's some of the pros in this book? I thought that this book was actually perfectly paced. It was so perfectly paced. I feel like James, Mr. Corey, which is that's his, anyways. I felt like James went through each scene in this book to make sure every scene was just absolutely perfect, and I know that takes a lot of work, and I felt like this book was totally worth my $7 or $8 that I paid for it at Barnes & Noble, which I think it was on sale. I'm not sure if it's that amount anymore, but yeah, I felt like it was totally worth every single cent that I paid for it. Now, so even though I complained about this book a moment ago, having the villain being completely revealed towards the end of the story, towards like the last 20% of the book, or if even 15% of the book, I actually liked the way the villain or the main antagonist was sort of a mystery for the first 50% or so. Like, it was a complete mystery. It's like, what is going on? You have these crazy ships happening. I don't want to mention too much because I don't want to like spoil the story for you. But it was kind of a mystery for like the first 50% of the book, and I'm like, whoa! It keeps me guessing, makes me want to read further, and it brought up the anticipation of something amazing happening. And then I don't feel like it was a huge twist when I finally found out. I kind of felt what was going on. It was slowly revealed who the main villain was and what the main issues were and stuff like that. It was like a slow reveal, you know. It didn't like completely shock and jar you, which I thought was pretty cool, and I didn't find any issues with that. And there was like this huge war that was breaking out, and there was like no reason, not a really solid reason for why this war was breaking out, but because there was past animosity among these two factions of Earth and Mars. Everybody was just quick to pull guns and start shooting, and nobody really knew who the true villain was. So that I thought was super interesting, and I really like that. Now, I'm certainly looking forward to reading the rest of this series, which I will be. And of course, there's going to be, I think probably once I get through the second book, I will be doing a huge book discussion. Now, I did start watching the series on Amazon Prime or Amazon Video. And so I kind of don't want to get too much into it because I don't want it to reveal too much about the books, and I don't want it to spoil it for me. So, and I prefer reading the books. But it's you know, the series on Amazon is a slow start. It's a slow burn, and I find the way it's filmed and kind of the way the characters are, it departs a bit from the books, which I am trying to get. I'm trying not to be too biased. I'm trying to understand that, hey, they have to do that. All right, but the acting, you know, yeah. So I'm trying to get used to the series on Amazon. I'm not going to review it right now, but I will be doing some comparisons between the books and the series and trying to just see how they all kind of intertwine and work together. I give Leviathan Wakes a 4.3 out of 5 stars. I thought that this book was an excellent read, and I definitely recommend it as if you're a lover of sci-fi books. Again, you know, James S.A. Corey is or was, probably still is, an assistant of George R.R. Martin, which I think is pretty awesome. And the fact that George R.R. Martin endorses this book is huge. All right, so definitely go ahead and like this video. Definitely hit subscribe if you thought that this review was great. Check out some of my other videos for some upcoming book reviews that will be posted soon. Sorry guys, I've been a little under the weather with the flu for the past probably month, and I'm still trying to become 100%. I'm not 100% yet, but I figured that, you know, I want to get this book review out because I just finished this book. And so yeah, give me a thumbs up on that if you liked it. Thumbs down. Well, just keep your thumbs down to yourself. All right, peace. Thanks for watching.